Hey guys, so I just wanted to give an update on our Ben. Giving an update has been heavy on my mind here recently because I know I left everybody with a 30-minute seizure scare, and I just wanted to talk more about that and what happened, and just taking a break from the daily grind to sit out here on my porch and swing and drink my coffee. So join me and let's talk about our life with Ben. 2 weeks ago, Ben had his very first 30-minute seizure. He has seizures every day, going on now 3 years. He has 1 to 2 minute, or sorry, he has a seizure, 1 to 2 seizures a day, lasting between 5 to 15 minutes. Most of them are between 10 and 15 minutes. They look like motor tic seizures. I think they're called myoclonic. They keep on changing, but it causes a reaction in his body, like his head turns. I mean, you can just watch the video, and I'll link the videos in the comment area for you to find easily. But so we had the 30 minutes of a seizure, and we had to use the emergency nasal spray for the very first time since he started having seizures. And let me tell you, that was scary. Even during the seizure, he was talking to me. I was asking him if he was okay, seeing where he was cognitively, and he was very alert, very aware of what was going on, but the seizure wasn't stopping. So we ended up having to spray his nose with this heavy-duty sedating seizure medicine, and it knocked him out within 3 minutes. He was on the couch, laying on my husband, barely moving. I called the emergency, our on-call neurologist, and she was having me check his breathing. We weren't sure if we were needing to call 911, but his breathing was okay. But for about 10 minutes, he was really, really out of it, and it was really scary. And I never want to do that again. Never, ever. I've never, other than the brain tumor diagnosis and the surgery and all that we've had to go through with the cancer side of things, the epilepsy part, that was the scariest thing I've ever witnessed, and I never want to do it again. Anyway, so the on-call neurologist had me increase one of his medications. He's on Depakote and Briviac, and so we increased the Depakote. And the following week, I had an appointment with his neurologist, and we decided to add a new medication and try a new medication, a benzo. And so now he's on Onfi and has been on Onfi for about 9 days. And his seizures have decreased about 50%. So instead of 2 seizures, he's having 1. And we keep on slowly increasing the Onfi. I had to increase it again last night. And he's just not... The seizures have decreased, and that's a blessing. But the side effects are just incredibly hard on him. He's very tired, almost sedated, very just lethargic and slow. Like, I can just tell his brain has slowed down, like 50% slowed down. He's not the same kid. And I'm not trying to be emotional. I really wanted to give this update today. I don't know why. His brain scans tomorrow to check the tumor. And so I get really on edge around this time. So I'll give you an update tomorrow on the scan, but it's just hard because he's not the same kid right now. My Ben is very, oh gosh, sorry. My Ben is a lover of life, and he loves doing fun things, and he's full throttle. I mean, he's like we call him the Benergizer Bunny, because he just is constantly moving and constantly thinking and constantly wants to go do fun things. And since starting this medication, he's just not right. Like, for instance, last night he played on the Oculus, and he normally only allow him to play for 30 minutes a day if he plays it, and he only wanted to play 15 minutes, and then he laid on the couch and just said he was tired. And it's just hard to see because he's still having seizures. So he's having the seizures and then the side effects on top of that. And it's just what happens with epilepsy. So if you know somebody that's battling seizures, go give them a hug, because it's hard, especially with a child. It's so hard. The plan is, going forward, we're going to continue to increase the on fee. I am being told the side effects should start to die down within a couple weeks. I'm really hoping we get seizure control, obviously. I mean, I would be happy with a seizure a week at this point. I would be happy with a seizure every other day. My kid needs a break. He's been fighting this too long. But, so we're going to increase the on fee, and we are going to get him scheduled for an inpatient EEG, so they can look at what his brain waves are doing during these seizures, because his last EEG, which we had at home, only recorded about 20 seconds of actual seizure activity. But the seizure, the outward effects, the physical effects of the tics continued for 15 minutes. And I don't want him to be on 3 medications for something that isn't hurting him. If the actual seizure is only 15 to 20 seconds, but because maybe there's some inflammation or something going on in his brain that's causing the tics, like afterwards, like, I don't want him to be on 3 heavy-duty medications. I want my kid back. And yes, he has seizures, but he bounces back after the seizure typically. And he plays, and he rides his bike, and he does everything that he shouldn't do. He shouldn't be able to do. He goes to the park. He runs around outside. He practices soccer. He plays basketball. He hasn't done any of that since starting this medication, other than his birthday party we own this inflatable water slide, and he loves it. So he's been on that all weekend when we've had that up. But other than that, he's just blah. He's not the same person. And it's hard to see a medication do that to somebody. So, God, I'm so sorry. I wasn't expecting to be all emotional. Anyway, it's not, the date for the hospital stay is not set yet. I'm hoping it will be set somewhere when he's out of school this upcoming summer. So he's out of school in like 10 days. So hopefully we can get that set soon, and we can try to figure out what's going on. A little backstory of the seizures real quickly. The seizures is they are thinking it's scar tissue from the surgery. When he had his surgery to remove part of the brain tumor 4 years ago, obviously they had to cut into his skull and cut into his brain and the tissue and everything. The seizures, what they're seeing from the EEG, is coming from the surgical site. They are thinking it's from scar tissue from the surgical site and not the tumor itself, because the tumor is super tiny. If it's there at all anymore. They're telling us the last scan that what's left of the brain tumor that is against the brainstem is either like a little inflammation from, or scar tissue from the tumor itself. They actually call it the tumor's birthmark. So as of right now, where I'm sitting today, we are winning our fight against cancer, which is phenomenal. I mean, that a lot of parents of pediatric cancer patients can't sit and say that. A lot of parents lose their children from pediatric cancer. So I'm not discarding that. That's an absolute win. But the epilepsy is it's so bad. And my options are pretty limited because I do not want them to go in and cut on him again. I mean, he's having seizures from the surgery. So an option is to go in and cut the seizures out again and risk more scar tissue. Like, it's a never-ending cycle when these procedures start. Another option is vagal nerve stimulation. Another option is ultrasonic therapy, where they will find exactly where the seizures are coming from, and they hit it with ultrasonic waves. And then gamma knife, but all of that are surgical procedures, and we do not want that. And just a super quick backstory of why is because Ben, after the first brain surgery 4 years ago, he woke up from surgery paralyzed on the right side of his body. When we walked into the hospital, he had full function. He was weak from the brain tumor, but he had full function. He woke up in that bed, not being able to move because of a stroke that he had in his thalamus. So that is why we are so hesitant on them cutting on him anymore, because of what has happened to him. And so we have to find something that works. We have to find a medication, or I would love to do holistic. I've tried so many things. And I've mentioned all the things I've tried in, a couple videos that I will link in the comments if you want to check them out. I just need a win. I need a win on the epilepsy side so badly. And I can just talk and go on and on. So I'm just going to move on. So that's the epilepsy update. I will let you guys know more about his inpatient hospital stay for the EEG, and if the Onfi works, and if he gets through these side effects. So stay tuned for further videos. Now, a quick update on the brain cancer side of things. He has an MRI tomorrow. He actually hasn't had an MRI. So his last MRI was the end of October. He was supposed to get them every 6 months. They've been behind. So it's been about 8 months, I think. And I'm really, I am so nervous about this one. I'm nervous about all the MRIs, but this one in particular, because I've had to adjust a lot of the holistic things I do at home to kill the cancer and keep the cancer away. And I've had to alter that to try to control the seizures. So let me backstep a little bit. 4 years ago, he was diagnosed with a astrocytoma, brain cancer in his left temporal lobe. It was pretty large, and it was attached to his brainstem. They went in for surgery and was able to remove about 80%, and we had this chunk still on his brainstem. And he had the stroke because they went too far into the brain to get the tumor. So it came at a cost. That 80% came at a large cost. He woke up paralyzed, and since then we've had to fight and claw to try to regain mobility in that right side. Anyway, the first year, the brain tumor and a cyst was with the brain tumor, was growing. And we went to a whole plant-based diet to control it, because of the studies that I've read on plant-based diets. It was still growing, but really it was slow. I think the plant-based diet really helped. But the cyst was still growing, so we had to start him on chemo. It was an inhibitor, so it was a pill, which was amazing. And at that exact same time, we also started him on cannabis. And we started him on cannabis and the chemo for a full year. And we saw about 60% shrinkage in the tumor, and we saw 80% shrinkage in the cyst. We got him off the chemo and just stuck with the cannabis. We give him raw garlic and we give him propolis, and he eats clean. We were at that time about 80%, about 70% vegan at that time. And so that's what we've been doing ever since. And the tumor has continued to shrink and shrink and shrink. The cyst hasn't grown. It's been 3 years, and what's left on the brainstem is what they're saying. It looks like it's scar tissue, or they're calling it the tumor's birthmark. It's always going to be there, but it's like literally not measurable anymore. Enhances just slightly on the scans, and that's how it's been. And it's been wonderful. Wonderful. He hasn't been on chemo. He hasn't been on any treatments other than the holistic things that we've done at home. Well, the last probably 3 months, I have changed a lot of what I've done at home with the cannabis and with the food. The Depakote is pretty harsh on the liver, and cannabis also goes through the liver. So I've cut back significantly on how much cannabis he takes because I've had to increase the Depakote. And then I keep on being told keto works for seizures, so I've been giving him more meat and been giving him more dairy and less bread and less of the sugary, like fruits, apples and bananas and stuff here recently. So I've altered our holistic treatment that I know keeps the cancer away, to see if it helps with the seizures. And so tomorrow's scan, I'm a little nervous that the cancer's growing again, because I mean, messing with things that I know have worked to keep the cancer away. Anyway, so I will give an update on the scan tomorrow. And I'm really hoping we're okay. I'm really hoping we're okay. Ben is he's such a fighter, and he's such a lover of life. He's one of the most incredible people I've ever known, and I gave birth to him, and I'm not being biased at all. He's such a fighter. And if the tumor has grown, then we will cross that bridge when we get there. And we'll have to adjust our holistic treatment back to what we were doing before. You know, it's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place right now, because what's worse? What's worse, epilepsy or cancer? Epilepsy can kill you too. It can rob you of your quality of life. So these are the constant struggles and constant questions and messing with things that we have to, my husband and I have to mess with Ben. Anyway, so there's the update. I will let you guys know how a scan looks. I have a Facebook page called Healing Benjamin and Blessings for Ben. I will put them in the comments below. I will most likely update that before I do another video. So if you want to know immediately how a scan is, you can check out his page. There's also pictures and everything on his Facebook pages about our journey, because I just started YouTube. Just started this channel a year ago. So anyway, if you're just coming along and found this video and decided to watch this, whatever this was, just, you know, if you want to subscribe or follow us, I'm going to be doing more of these. We also do lots of fun things too. Like Ben is such an adrenaline junkie. So his Make-A-Wish, we went on a Make-A-Wish trip. His Make-A-Wish was to cliff dive into the ocean. Like, that was his Make-A-Wish. So we went to Hawaii. And we found a rock at Waname Bay in Hawaii. And his little body climbed up that with our help, and he jumped off that rock. And he's just that type of kid. And he's fun. And he has a lot to show people in life. We just have to get these seizures under control so it doesn't disrupt that. He's already had so much happen to him. He doesn't deserve this. He deserves to live the rest of his life healthy and free. So we're still trying to figure it out. I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for chiming in.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever